One thing I'm really wondering about now that there's more clarity for you is that is an IPO, frankly, in your future now. We talk so much about the potential for the XRP token to be wrapped in an ETF. That is a method of listing. Right. So is listing possible now for you for Ripple?
Hey, everybody. It's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. And that, of course, was Brad Garlinghouse speaking to Bloomberg today. And an IPO? No, it's still not a priority. Listen to what the priority is for Ripple.
Well, it's certainly something that is possible. The United States SEC under Gensler was so hostile to this industry. I mean, ironically, they approved the S1 from Coinbase and then sued them for doing the things they said they were doing. So this SEC, fortunately, is going to be, I think, very constructive and positive for this industry. So I think that's available, and I think the company's at a stage where we can consider that. That being said, it isn't a huge priority. I think most companies are going public. Raising capital is something that is high on their radar. We have been in a very fortunate position to be able to grow the business organically. We're also, frankly, more proactive in looking at acquisitions. This is an industry that finally is going to be able to thrive in the United States, the largest economy in the world. And I think the industry is still underestimating the shift from the headwinds to the tailwinds. That's going to make a bigger difference than people think. And finally, the U.S. market is really unlocked.
So it sounds like what you're saying, acquisitions are almost more of a priority now than an IPO for you. So then what would you be looking for to buy, and how big are you willing to go?
Well, I'm not going to name names, but look, Ripple at its core is a blockchain infrastructure company. We sell our technologies to business, primarily financial institutions, and we'll look at other things that are blockchain infrastructure companies. I think there will be consolidation this year. There's a lot of excitement about some of the changes, and we will lean into that for sure.
Let me do a little strategy from the armchair here. I want to highlight some private companies that I think would be good targets for Ripple. First, starting with Anchorage Digital. This is a private crypto custody company with a banking platform. Yes, this would be a great way to get the traditional finance clients over to DeFi, storage, and trading. I put this one at the top of my list. I would also add more crypto custody. Now you say, what? More? Well, sure. Why not own the whole vertical? Fireblocks, Copper, BitGo. Custody companies. Yes, I keep that one near the top of my list. One that I've identified for a very long time is TRM. And if it's not TRM, which is an analytics company, they really take a look at risk management and forensics, well, then it could be a company just like them, Elliptic, or maybe Chainalysis. Now, here's one that might be a little more complicated. It would probably take some creative organization, restructuring, financing, collaborations. I don't know. It would be Gemini and Bitstamp, because we know that they are building a derivatives platform, and it is going to probably have some integration with the XRP ledger, or maybe using the AMM. I am not sure, but gosh, something tells me it's going to happen in a way that I haven't quite put my finger on it yet. And of course, a payments company. Stripe, MoonPay. I don't know. I just think there's going to be a payments company somewhere in that mix. And a long shot would be Futureverse. Yeah, I am just bullish on Futureverse. I have seen how much they've done. They are building the root network out. They have a tremendous amount of powerful partners. And I love the vision that both the co-founders, Aaron and Shara, have. They were named as one of the top 10 most innovative companies by Fast Company just, 2 days ago? I think they have a great long shot to be acquired. Maybe one of the most compelling reasons is because they're doing so much advancement with AI, and there must be some sort of AI play in the works. I'm going to let Brad take you out with another clip that really was shocking. I don't think anybody has talked about this because it was at the very end of that 15-minute clip. And most everyone didn't have anything except some of the clips that were floating around X. This is talking about the XRP unlocks and how that 42% supply, what are they going to do with it going forward? And, well, at some point, something might change. Listen carefully. All right, everybody, until next time, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.
I have one more question for you about Ripple and XRP in particular on the supply and how it's managed and the unlocks. Is there anything you would do to change the amount of supply brought to market? Can you do that? How does that exactly work? Because there is a level of dilution for XRP when more supply is brought in on a regular basis.
So this is one of the things I'm glad you asked about, because there's frankly misinformation, sometimes disinformation, people spreading falsehoods out there. The amount of XRP that was created in 2012 when it was first started, when that blockchain was first started, was 100 billion units. That can't be increased. It's slightly deflationary, and now there's about 99.9 billion units. Ripple owns about 42% of that supply. We have had, and for, I guess, 8 years, we published something called the XRP Markets Report, where we share how much we are introducing into the market, because we want that to be predictable. And that has been the case for many years now. And so we will continue to make sure that's very predictable. At some point, maybe we won't be selling as much. We'll see how that plays out in the future. But right now, frankly, we get criticized for owning too much, and then we're criticized for selling some. But we want to do that in a constructive way, which is what we've done for years.
It's an honor to speak with you about how the United States is going to dominate crypto and the next generation of financial technologies. And it's not going to be easy, but we're way ahead. Just 2 weeks ago, we hosted the first ever White House Digital Asset Summit, bringing together many of the world's top leaders in crypto for a conversation led by our White House AI and crypto czar, David Sachs, who's a fantastic and very brilliant guy. That same week, I signed an order creating the brand new strategic Bitcoin reserve and a U.S. digital asset stockpile, which will allow the federal government to maximize the value of its holdings instead of foolishly selling them for a fraction of their long-term value, which is exactly what Biden did. He got a fraction of their value. We're ending the last administration's regulatory war on crypto and Bitcoin, and that includes stopping the lawless Operation Choke Point 2.0. Operation Choke Point went beyond regulation, and I mean far beyond. It was a form of lawfare through government weaponization. Frankly, it was a disgrace. But as of January 20th, 2025, all of that is over. I've also called on Congress to pass landmark legislation creating simple, common sense rules for stablecoins and market structure. With the right legal framework, institutions large and small will be liberated to invest, innovate, and take part in one of the most exciting technological revolutions in modern history. It's so big, it's, I think, as big as you can get. Pioneers like you will be able to improve our banking and payment system and promote greater privacy, safety, security, and wealth for American consumers and businesses alike. You will unleash an explosion of economic growth, and with the dollar-backed stablecoins, you'll help expand the dominance of the U.S. dollar, and many, many years to come, it'll be at the top, and that's where we want to keep it. We only want to keep it at the top, always. I can already see that the energy and passion of the crypto community is the kind of spirit that built our country, and it is exciting to watch as you invent the future of finance. And right here, it's going to be right here in the USA, the good old USA. Together we will make America the undisputed Bitcoin superpower and the crypto capital of the world. Thank you, good luck, God bless America.